So, Coach Edwards, I want to try and get my kid fast at home. So, what things can I do at home so I can get my kid fast?
Okay, I got two things anyone can do right now for young kids that will help them get fast if they're slow. Every kid, I want you to understand this. Every kid can get faster within their own bandwidth, who they are, right? So just everyone remember that. No kid is slow, they can all get faster. First thing they want to do is that we want to teach them to run fast. How many kids exposed to running fast? And what I mean by that is at high intensity, 95 to 100% as fast as they can. But before they do, if you don't know anything about a dynamic warm up, they need to learn how to run a dynamic warm up first so they don't injury, and it's moving them through space, preparing the muscles and warming up the tissue to prepare for it. I have a link below that I'll have in this, since that question, that's a good one, is asked. So you can, quick, simple way you can do a warm up. It's music, it's showing kids how to do it. It's real simple. Make sure you look at that first. So remember, I said first thing is run fast, okay? And what I mean by maximum velocity or intensity is that you're going to have them run as fast as they can, and this is only for 10 to 20 yards. This is why it's important. When kids run too far, what breaks down? Technique. They get tired and it looks ugly. And what we want to do is we want to keep them fresh, because in order to, the energy system that's called a phosphagen, I won't go far there, it's 10 seconds or less, because we're teaching fast twitch muscle. There's a neuromuscular adaptation that's going to take place. We want to stimulate that muscle, that fast twitch, that energy system in that bandwidth, in that timeline. And so that's what we want to do, only that long. And this is what's important for recovery with this, is you only 60 to 90 seconds. Now, here's why for kids that are young. A lot of them have a short attention span. Technically, for every 10 yards for your older athletes, you want a minute recovery. Even if you feel fully recovered, remember, we want that energy system fully recovered, because that stimulus, we're taxing the central nervous system, that neuromuscular adaptation. We want to be fresh, because fast twitch muscle, we want fresh. Think of a cheetah. Cheetah can go fast for a short distance, right? And it has to recover. We're training a cheetah, not a Range Rover or a Hummer or anything that's slow and powerful. We don't want it slow. We're building explosiveness, speed, right? Now, here's the thing. I'm going to break this down to you. This is the one thing that you're going to do, and listen to the end, because we're going to come back putting these two things together. The second thing you're going to do is that I love resistance runs, and here's why. And what I mean by that is a resistance with a sled, tires, and I'm putting videos. You can see some of our athletes using it above, and I love chains. This is teaching athletes how to put force into the ground the appropriate way. And this is teaching them in the beginning stage how to accelerate, okay? And most young athletes, when they run, they want to do it straight up. And so they're putting that force in the ground. But the thing is, I want you to think of if you're pushing something. Think of if you've ever pushed a car, and you can use this at home. We might have to do a waiver for this one, but imagine if you're pushing a dresser across the carpet, okay? If you stand right above it, put your hips and your hands right at it, and you push, and you're standing straight up, you're not producing any force. Now, if you take your legs and you shift back, your feet are going to be behind your hips. You're going to push until your hips rise in order to do what? Build that force, right? There's a velocity curve. We're learning to produce force in order for the hips to rise, just like an airplane taking off. If it done this, where does that energy go? Straight up. So I've lost that power. Without me verbal cueing athletes to learn how to take and accelerate so the hips rise, and once they get up, then we can attack the ground from above. This is a way you coaches can use this as a cheat code. I don't have to over explain. And some people say, well, we do a wall drill teaching them switches and all. Sometimes you don't have access to a wall for your kids. But if you have this, you invest into this, you can do this in the field, and I promise you, I've seen this done for 20 plus years with high level Class A state national champion athletes here out of the state of Michigan. And me and my father used to coach at the high school level. This works, and it's research that supports this. Now let me put this all together for you. One, you're gonna have them run as fast as they can. How many times you're going to do this is day one, we want to get 3 times. You're going to time this, and this is why it's important. When we time it, it gives them what? A baseline, but motivation the next time they do it. Because when kids, with our experience, when they run and they see the time, they want to beat their own time. So it's motivation just having them run, right? So if they run it 3 times, and let's say I run 10 yards in 3 seconds, I'll just throw a number out there. The next time they say, wow, you ran 2.7. Kids are excited, right? So day one, the first thing you want to do is we're going to get 3 times running as fast as they can for 10 to 20 yards. Don't forget the recovery between that, right? Okay. And then after that, we got that number. Then we're going to do the resistance run. I want them to get a feel for that stimulus on day one. Here's the thing. Between the 3 runs that they'll do without resistance, I want you to let them recover between that 2 minutes. As you set up, put the resistance on them. We're going to have them run again 3 times, the same time recovery between those. You don't have to time it, but you can if you want to have fun, okay? The second time they run, and you're going to have between this 48 hours. That gives their bodies time to recover. I want them fully recovered. Some people say 24 to 48 hours. There's an adaptation that's taking place. I like for our kids to have that 48-hour window. So that second day, you're going to start with this. You're going to start with 3 resistance runs. Recovery the same, 60 to 90 seconds between. You're going to take the resistance off after those 3, and they're going to get 3 non-resistance runs as fast as they can. Recovery between those 2, 60, 90 to 2 minutes. We want them fully recovered before they transition from resistance to non-resistance runs. You're going to do this for, if you only have 2 weeks, do it for 2 weeks. I recommend doing it for 4 weeks, okay? If you can't, that's fine. You're going to see an adaptation that's going to take place anyway. On the last week, we're going to flip it back to week 1. You're going to start. You won't do the last week. There won't be a resistance run. It's called a time trial. You're testing to see where they are. 3 timed runs. And make sure you do it the same way. So if you're the timer doing it, make sure you're doing it again. Make sure you get a mark, a cone where they start, measure this off, and making sure it's consistent so there's no variable there. You're timing it the same way. And I like to go with our athletes. They're starting at 2 cones. If you don't have most of you don't have an electronic system, get a stopwatch you can get, or you can use your cell phone that you can. You say set and go, and you let them know. And as soon as they hear go as in go, don't wait till you say oh at the end of go. As soon as they hear that, they want to take off and go, and tell them run through the cone. Don't stop at the cone. You can even give them 5 yards beyond the cones, because most of them kids, they get to that cone, they want to stop. We want to learn to teach them to accelerate through the cone. Here's the thing. I want you to do this for me. I want you to try this because it's a great question that comes up. I get this with a lot of parents, okay? I want you to do this. Try it at home. Send us the video of your kids, what you're doing. Don't be shy. If you listen this long, you're going to do it. So send it to us so we can help you. That's what we're here for. Now, everyone probably, I want to add this in at the end. For those of you saying, well, why didn't you ask any technical? We can look at A-skips. We can look at arm mechanics and all. Those are technical skills. And here's the thing about young kids. Technical is a hard thing to learn because we're teaching them a thing that's going to take longer. But kids' neuromuscular adaptation can take place quicker. It's just the way it is with kids. They don't have their hormonal levels because they don't have the ability to hold some of those postural positions consistently that it takes to do A-skips, that it takes to do certain plyometrics yet. But this is something that I can add as a quick stimulus that is building strength, exposing them to speed that works quick. Now that's a longer video. We can get into research in sports science that I have coming out as to the why. Just remember, we're not looking at technique at all with this at first. So there's no verbal cues needed. We're looking at where they are. Here's what's going to help with technique: the resisted pulls. It's going to teach them the technique without you doing it. Because the hardest thing to do is to teach a kid to get into more of a horizontal acceleration angle shape with their bodies, because they don't know. That's your stimulus. That's your technique. That's your cheat code. Okay, so try it. Reach out to us, and I promise you, your kid won't be as slow as they were before. Good luck with it, and I look forward to hearing from you.